Age of Overlord is right around the corner, and with it comes the Armored XZ cards. I talked about these briefly in the Goblin video that came out last week, but in today's video what I want to do is I want to talk about what this engine can bring to a deck like Traptrix. So let's get in talking about the full armor cards we aren't playing, because I think it's important to understand why we aren't playing these cards. So we're going to start with XYZ Armor Torpedo. This is a generic rank 3 monster that has 2500 attack and 800 defense. It cannot attack unless that's material, and you can detach 2 materials from this card to draw a card. That's a pretty strong effect. Just detach 2, draw 1. It's essentially like a Dogasto Emerald, except you don't recycle, I guess. It's just a free draw. Really good strong effect. We're not playing it in this deck, obviously, because we're playing rank 4 monsters. We're like level 4s and rank 4s. We have no real way of making this. That's why we're not playing this one. It has the effect that while it's equipped to a monster, the opponent can activate cards or effects, or the effects of all their face-up monsters are negated until the end of the damage step, which is quite cool. And it also has the effect that if the equipped monster is an XZ monster, it can't be targeted by card effects. You'll understand what this means the further along we get with the rest of the XYZ Armor cards. This is a really strong card, but unfortunately we can't play it in this deck because we make rank 4s and not rank 3s. The other card we're not playing is XYZ Entrust. So this is not an Armored XZ card by name, but it does add them. So adds 1 Armored XYZ card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Then you can make the levels of up to 2 face-up monsters you control become 3 or 5 until the end of this turn. This would technically be a way for us to make the rank 3 in Traptrix, but I don't think it's necessary playing this card. This card also has the effect that if this card is in the graveyard, except instead of it's sent there, you can banish this card and target XYZ monster, treat it as an equipped card, and special summon it. It's pretty strong, but it's not quite right for Traptrix. Let's get into the ones we are playing. So we are playing XYZ Armor Fortress. This is a rank 5 monster. It's also got 2500 attack. And it says, once per turn, you can also XYZ summon this card by using 1 rank 3 or rank 4 XYZ monster you control. So we just slap this on top of a rank 4 monster we control, and they're very easy to make in Traptrix. You also try some materials to this card, which is quite important. This card says, this card with material cannot be used as a material for an XYZ summon. That is the Zeus tax, because if you could go like rank 3 into rank 5 into rank 7 into Zeus, it would be a far too easy way to make a Zeus, which is absolutely huge. So it has to have that restriction on it because Zeus is legal. The next effect is once per turn, you can detach up to 2 materials from this card, add the same number of Armored XYZ cards with different names from your deck to your hand. We'll talk about this in a second. If a monster equipped with this card battles another monster, any battle damage it inflicts your opponent is doubled. This is quite cool for Traptrix because it does allow you to go for lethal lines that aren't exactly going for Atipus, Pingu, and Alamoris. Having an additional way where you can do big damage to your opponent is always helpful. Being able to equip this to the rank 7 makes him absolutely huge, and then he does double damage, which is cool. We'll talk about the cards this card can search. So we're playing one of them in the main. I say in the main, we're not playing the other one at all because it's not out yet. This is Full Armored XYZ. If an XYZ monster is on the field, immediately after this effect resolves, XYZ summon 1 XZ monster. This is quite a cool effect in Traptrix because you often summon monsters in your opponent's turn through Serra when you activate a trap, and also through Holtea's graveyard effect, which you normally go through in your setup. This means we have 2 avenues of getting monsters on the field, which allows us to use this trap in our opponent's turn to XYZ summon a monster, and this has like no restrictions on it. So you could make any rank 4 with any monsters you control. I say rank 4, you make any XZ monster with monsters you control. Which means in our opponent's turn, going in blind, we see they're playing Terralement, we can go for an Abyss Dweller. Or we see our opponent's like broken part of our board, but we can get another XZ monster on the field. Well, we make a Baguska. We can make a Redoer if we have like a Holtea that we've set. Like say we have an extra Holtea, we set it, we activate it, trigger Serra, summon a monster, and then we make a Redoer, and we have a put on the bottom of the deck sort of effect, which is quite cool. Also, funnily enough about this card, if your opponent goes to the battle phase and you have 2 XZ monsters and they attack over 1, you can actually activate Full Armored XYZ to go into a Zeus in your opponent's battle phase, which is also quite funny. But yeah, this card's really good, just for that effect alone, being able to XZ summon using your monsters, but it also has a second effect, where you can banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 XZ monster you control, equip 1 other XZ monster from your face-up field or graveyard to it as an equip spell with these effects. The equipped monster gains attack equal to this card's, and if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, destroy this card instead. So essentially, you can use the graveyard effect of Full Armored XZ to equip any XZ monster to the rank 7, which we'll talk about in a second. The other cards that you could hypothetically search off the rank 5 is Armored XYZ. We're not playing this card simply because it's not out yet. For some reason, they have not added this one to Age of Overlord. This is going to come in a later set. I believe in the OCG they got all these cards at the same time. I don't understand why we're not getting this card, because it means you can't detach to search, because there's only one target. But this essentially says, target one face-up monster you control, and one XZ monster in your graveyard. Equip that monster from the graveyard to the other monster on the field as an equip spell. With these effects, the equipped monster's attack becomes this card, and the equipped monster's attribute is also treated as this card's. If the equipped monster attacked, at the end of the damage step, you can send this card to the graveyard. The monster it was equipped to can make a second attack in a row. I'm sure you can see how that would be useful with the double damage monster with the really high attack stat from Full Armored XYZ. So that's all the cards other than the rank 7, and this really brings it together. So, once per turn, you can also XYZ summon Full Armored Dark Lancer by using one rank 5 or rank 6 monster you control. So this would be the XYZ Armor Fortress. This card gains 300 attack for each material attached to it, and each card equipped to it. So you'll only have one, because this card has to have no material to be able to rank into this, and then when you equip something, it'll gain another 300, so it's normally like 34, plus whatever's equipped to it from the trap. So this gets really big really fast. The next effect is, once per turn, you can target one XZ card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, so this can recycle the spell or the trap. Not obviously if you've banished it, but if you don't need to use the banish effect, you can get it back again. That's quite cool. Once per turn, if an equipped card becomes equipped to a monster you control, you can attach one monster your opponent controls to this card as a material. So this is non-targeting, non-destruction removal, which is really easy to get to in Traptrix, which I think is going to be very important because Traptrix has many issues removing cards not by battle or by card destruction. You have Pradika, but this effect does target, and it also comes back. So this gives another avenue for removal for the deck. Like, trying to out a lady in Traptrix is very, very difficult, and this gives you an avenue to do it, because you can go Full Armored XYZ, attach, say, a Alamoris or something like that to your Full Armored Dark Lancer. He becomes big, but also you just get to suck up your opponent's lady, or something along those sort of lines. So, because Full Armored XYZ Armor Fortress requires you to have no materials to be able to use it as XZ material to make the rank 7, you kind of have to slap this on top of a rank 4 that attaches both of its materials to activate its effect. Now, Traptrix has one of those, and that is Traptrix Alamoris. So this card says you can detach 2 materials from this card, special summon one level 4 insect or plant monster from your graveyard. So this gets you to another body, which is going to be helpful for being able to resolve the trap on your opponent's turn without having to use all of your responses first, like having to use your Holtarian Grave and having to use your traps in the back row, something off Sarah. So this is important, but it also allows you to have no materials, so you can slap the rank 5 on it, use the rank 5 detach to search for the trap, and then go into the rank 7 to add like extra pressure onto your board. So yeah, the main reason we want to play this in Traptrix is because Traptrix is uniquely positioned to be able to summon monsters in your opponent's turn to use as material for Full Armored XYZ to summon powerful XYZ monsters like Baguska and Abyss Dweller in your opponent's turn. I don't really think there's anything else I need to talk about this list. We're playing like 12 going second cards, 12 Traptrix monsters, some consistency cards, 2 of the field spell, 3 of the Parallel Exceed, 4 Traptrix Trap Holes, and 3 Holtea. I think this is the ratio I'm liking at the minute, playing 2 Gravedigger's Trap Hole rather than 2 Floodgate Trap Hole. Purely because Nibiru was around quite a bit at the minute, and I don't want to draw this card and just die to it. However, you will see in the combos you do die to Nibiru. And I'm playing less Floodgate Trap Hole because Cash isn't about, and more Gravediggers because Tearlament is more about, and I think this might be a better ratio at the minute. It's just something I'm testing. Other than that, not really anything else we need to talk about, other than the fact we're playing 2 Alamoris, because you want 1 for a potential OTK and 1 for the combo setup with the armored cards. You could probably still play 1 and just give up a little bit of your OTK potential with the Traptrix cards because you have the rank 7 to be able to OTK potentially. We'll get into the combo. I'm just showing one real basic one today, and this is going to be Traptrix Mellow plus a trap. In this case, it's going to be evenly matched. So we're going to start with normal summoning Armor Mellow and activating the effect to search for a copy of Traptrix Holotea. We're then going to make a copy of Sarah and set our copy of Holotea. From here, we can activate Holotea by discarding a trap and resolve the effect of Sarah to special summon a Traptrix. In this case, we're summoning Mellow to be able to get the mandatory trigger so we can trigger the Sarah. But if you're playing in an actual game, it's likely you might have a Traptrix Trap Hole in hand to discard, so you're probably saying Dionea. But for this pure 2-card combo, Mellow is the way to go. So we're going to set a trap off of our Sarah, we're going to set the Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, which is a bad Storm Strike, and then we're going to overlay for this copy of Alamoris. I will say again, this combo does die to Nibiru more than a standard combo. Normally you'd be going for a Rafflesia here, and your Nibiru is safe because you have a Gravedigger's Trap Hole in deck. However, this combo does end on a better board, so if you have the read that your opponent's not on Nibiru, or like they don't have it by the way that they're like looking at the hand and that sort of stuff, go for this line, or if you just want to be a boarder and say you haven't got it. But from here, we're going to activate Alamoris' effects, as we do have a Memello in our graveyard, to detach the 2 materials and summon the Memello. This, of course, will trigger the Memello's mandatory effect, but in this case, it doesn't actually matter. From here, we're going to slap the rank 5 on top of our Alamoris and use the effect to search for full armored XYZ. Important to also note, this is a normal trap card. This means it will trigger our Traptrix Sarah when it is activated. Kind of funny because like you in this situation you can opt to not rank up into the rank 7 and have your full armored XYZ ready to trigger just to summon the rank 7 on top of the rank 5. This would of course trigger our Sarah to summon a Pudika, which would allow us to banish, and we'd still have the trap effect, the graveyard effect of full armored XYZ in the graveyard as well as the back row, which is a fine board. We're going to try and go a little bit further here, and we are going to go into a copy of the Full Armored Dark Lancer, set our trap, and pass our turn. This looks like quite a weak board, but it actually has quite a few interruptions on it. So in our opponent's turn, we can go into our graveyard and activate our effect of Holotea after we've seen them do some plays, and we can special summon out this copy of Traptrix Memello. This is going to trigger Memello's mandatory effect if our opponent has a spell trap to pop. Amazing. If they don't, who cares? It still triggers our Sarah to be able to search us a copy of Holotea for follow-up. From here, we can activate the Full Armored XYZ, and then we can XYZ summon a copy of Dweller if we see we're up against Tyralament, or if we're up against another deck that uses the graveyard quite a bit. Or if you're up against something that doesn't really care about the graveyard and cares more about stuff on fields, like say Mannadium, we could also just slap a copy of Baguska on the field, preferably in defense, unlike I have done in this case, but I just want to show that you have options. From here, we can use the Sarah effect since the trap was activated. We don't have to, but we could do. And we're able to summon a Pudika from the deck. We could use this on one of the other trap effects, but I'm just showing you can do it here. And this would obviously trigger our Pudika to be able to banish a card our opponent controls. Let's say they activate a monster effect in the field. Hey, we have Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. We can activate this and negate something. We also have the Full Armored XYZ effect in the graveyard, so we can banish it and equip an Alamoris to our Dark Lancer, which is going to make him very big. It's going to make him 5,300 attack, but it's also going to trigger our Dark Lancer, since a card was equipped to it, to snatch one of our opponent's cards and attach it as material. So if we count the number of interruptions there, which I probably should have been doing to begin with, we have Holotea for a potential spell pop. We had Sarah setting some follow-up, Sarah summoning Pudika, which is 2, and we have the Snatch, which is 3. And we also had the Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, which is 4, and we have the Dweller, which is 5. So just off of those 2 cards, we had 5 separate interruptions, Dweller and Baguska both being floodgates, so kind of more than one interruption. It's quite a lot to get just off of what was Memello and evenly matched. Again, this combo is weak to Nibiru. However, with Lost Connection, it does put up a much stronger board than Traptrix typically does. Like, if you think what the board would have been if we went for the standard line there, it would have been Sarah plus a Rafflesia plus a back row, which is still fine. It is still Pudika plus a trap hole from deck plus whatever trap hole you set, which is still 3 interruptions, but this just pushes it a lot further forward to be able to allow you to keep up with decks which are a little bit faster than you are. And it's also varied interruption, which I think is quite cool. Like, if you get worried about an evenly matched, it's like, okay, you're going to evenly match me, I'll use some interruptions, I'll put a Baguska on board and I'll just keep that, and you're going to evenly me, but then you're going to pass turn, and I'm going to just keep playing on the follow-up. So, yeah, that is Full Armored in Traptrix. It's a deck that I'm really looking forward to playing once I pick up the cards from Age of Overlord. Yeah, let me know what you think about the idea, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.